Well, since the brakes were the wrong ones, I just spared you guys the agonizing changing the oil. You know, the funny thing about this thing is look how thick and nasty this oil is. Like, that's only like a quart or two. That's all that came out of this engine. And that was a white oil pan when I started. Like, that is nasty. And I haven't been very up on keeping this thing oil changed because it leaks it out as fast as I can put it in. At least it's not as much anymore. But intake gasket right in here down on the bottom is blowed out. This valve cover leaks. The oil pressure switch, it was cracked and leaking oil. Well, I put enough stop leak in this motor. I finally got the intake to quit leaking. I guess the valve cover decided to quit leaking, and I put another pressure switch in it. But the valves in this thing, the valve guide seals are so far gone in this motor, she just burns it as fast as you put it in it. Hence why I keep a cord underneath the hood so I can check it once a week. I used to have to check it every other day when it was leaking that bad, but now it's once a week. So I guess we upgraded a little bit. But this whole van, I bought it off a guy in some dealership. He was starting his own dealership, used cars. He was honest with this thing when I bought it off of him. He told me that the motor had a tick to it and the alternator was making a noise because this has got that clutch style alternator, and the clutch from the other alternator was going out, and them things are $200 and some, and I just found another one off a used van and stuck it on there. And then the most I've done to this thing is I was cruising down the road one day. We took this thing to, oh, where's that, Kansas City, Missouri. And that's a long dadgum drive from where I'm at. And the brake on the passenger side went out. It just started making a terrible noise. And the tire was about ready to blow as well. So when we made it back from the trip, I jacked it up the next morning to change the tire and fix the brake. And then when that all came about, found out that the water pump had went out. The power steering pump went out. The serpentine belt was about ready to break in two. A couple idler pulleys were about shot on her. The wheel bearing was out. The lower ball joint was shot. The strut was shot, which I knew the struts were shot. They were needing to replace right after I got it. The outer tie rod was shot. So I was like, well, this is when I decided to give this thing some love, because I had it for about a year and all I did was just dump oil in it. So we tore it apart, and I put $800 in it that day, putting the new struts and lower A-arms and inner and outer tie rod. Well, I guess it'd be outer tie rods because this has got a rack and pinion in it. Replaced the wheel bearings on both sides, the brakes on both sides, and put new plugs and wires in it while I had it apart. Changed the oil for the first time. I put almost 40,000 miles on it without ever changing oil in this thing. That's probably why that oil is as black as it is, because it's got a lot of carbon buildup in it. Well, I got it back on the road, and I run it down the road. And that last story I told you when I was doing the walk around on the update on the GMC, I said it caught fire. Well, the engine harness for the fuel injectors, they run down behind the reservoir here, and they run not quite toward the exhaust, but somehow when I blew that tire out, the vibration was pretty violent. I guess it caused the wires to chafe, and it shorted them out and caught literally on fire. I used to have a picture of the harness. I don't know if I have it or not, but it fried that computer, but it still ran. I got it home running on a couple cylinders. That was interesting. And a flat. I think it was almost 40 miles. I drove it on 3 wheels, and I blew this back tire out, And when I said it tore the back bumper off, I had re-put it all back together, but it tore it loose here, and it was hanging off back there, and it had beat the side of the fender and turned it all black. So a little bit of paint thinner and clean that all off and ruin the rim. But you know, this old van, just a 2003, man, this thing just goes. I'm not gonna sell it. I'll just run the thing into the ground. And after I had got it home, I did a bunch of troubleshooting, found out that it fried the harness and burned up the computer, and I redid the entire engine harness, put it all back together, come out, found out it had knocked out number 4 injector toward the computer, so I had to replace the computer. That's $225 for a reflashed aftermarket computer. Well, the thing ran great. And I started driving it again, and the used alternator that I put on it, because the clutch on the other one went out, it went out shortly after. And I don't know what happened, but it took the battery out, so I had to put another battery in it, another alternator on it. And ever since then, I upsized the tires. The same day I did all that, I went one size bigger. These are 205s instead of 195s. And I have an ABS light that shows low voltage and pump not working. And then I have a speed sensor, output sensor, that says at fault, voltage some crap, I don't know. I've changed the sensors, and the thing, well, when you start it up, the speedometer jumps and goes crazy. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. I actually got underneath here and unplugged the ABS sensors. Did I not bring the keys out with me? There they are. But I unplugged the fuses to the ABS pump just a little bit ago. Just, well, she won't start with those fuses out. We'll just put them back, I guess. Well, wouldn't have figured that would have been the issue, but we'll just put them back. Put it in the right daggone way. But there we go. Now see if she'll start. But there she is. I pump the brakes because I pushed that caliper in. I have to pump the brakes to get the caliper to come back out. Come on now. There she's getting firm. See that stupid ABS light? And then watch what happens when I drop it in gear. My foot's on the brake. Okay, my foot is on the brake. See my speedometer? I have no idea why that stupid thing's doing that. Put it in neutral, or put it back in park, and then that's it. I don't know. We'll figure it out.